5k special, yeah, with 5 things you might not know. Right, so my goal here is to go through 5 obscure things. Some of you might know, some of you might not know, you might know all of them, you might know none of them. But we're just going to kick this off with the Chunga helmets and how they just point blank do not take headshot damage. This is something I see a lot of people get wrong and have a weird misconception about. The helmet itself will not take headshot damage. You need to break the helmet to get the headshot damage. So I've just got a headshot there with no buffs. I am speeding it up a bit so we can't laugh too much at my terrible aim. But my headshot from base, first shot, without headhunters, golden bullet or anything else, is 4,950,890. So no buffs, headshot damage, 4.9 mil. Now, there are ways in which you're able to make Chunga helmets take headshot damage. Dodge City Holster is a very good one that will apply headshot damage to the shot no matter where you hit. Achilles Pulse is also a very good one, assuming you're able to mark the helmet. Obviously, overcharged Achilles is pretty damn good with this. So, just going to do this Elite Territory Control just because this one always spawns and it's always a Chunga boss at the end. So, we're just going to work our way through the ads. Hopefully get to the Chunga without dying or doing anything stupid, because my hive is already on cooldown because I tried doing something stupid a minute ago and got myself slapped with a turret and then a shotgun because I'm pro. Right, so here is our friend the Chunga. We're just going to get rid of his chain, wasting our headhunter. Going to waste our Dodge City on the mini tank, and now we're just going to wait for golden bullet to end. So I've got no other buffs or anything. And golden bullet's about to end, so we're going to hopefully break his chain. Here we go. And now we're just going to try and hit him in the head with no buffs active. 1.4 mil. One more time. 1.4 mil. We can do it a third time. It's not changing. So headshot damage is not applying to a Chunga while they have the helmet on. Now, hopefully, I'm going to break the helmet. Well, I do break the helmet because obviously I'm editing after the fact. So we can speed this up through the power of editing and hopefully now get a direct headshot, which is 5.8 mil. So, Chungas, while they have the helmet on, do not take headshot damage unless you're using Dodge City Holster and hit with a pistol, which will apply headshot to wherever you hit. It still technically doesn't count as a headshot, but it just adds the headshot multiplier to the equation. And it's the same with Achilles Pulse. Again, doesn't actually count as a headshot, but it will apply your headshot damage to the equation. Next up, we have this pesky interaction. So if I shoot this guy, I get 1.6 mil, 1.6 mil. Yeah, just 1.6 mils all over the place. And now we're going to try and throw a grenade at him to hopefully proc Sledgehammer. Annoyingly, that grenade missed. I need to work on my tossing. So yeah. Right, there's the grenade hit, Sledgehammer, 2.2 mil. Why is this annoying? Why is this a pesky thing? Well, it's quite simple really. Sledgehammer reads, targets with a mark will take 30 or 40% for perfect Sledgehammer, more damage to armor. This is annoying because Sledgehammer is not damage to armor. I do not know why they've worded it this way. I don't understand it. Trust me, it is more annoying for me. Also, yes, I get it. They've said damage to armor. But then if you also look at the spotter chest and then perfect spotter, both read the same, apart from one says increases, one says amplified. Okay, so when it comes to naming things, I don't think the devs are too on the ball. Why is this not damage to armor? Well, if you understand anything about this game, it's that these white chunky bars that these normal guys have is armor. When you shoot a Chunga or a Warhound or shields or LMG dudes in the head, you will see a flashing shield. This indicates armor plating. Armor plating is only affected by damage to health and damage to targets out of cover. Gonna shoot this guy with no extra buffs. I'm hitting 1.6 mil. 161, 6129. This is with Contractor's gloves, which have damage to armor on. LMG damage, 15% weapon damage, critical hit damage. Just going to put Striker's gloves on now, so effectively all I am losing on this build is the damage to armor. Hopefully we're going to break his chain again. Swap back to our rifle, pop him again. Oh look, the exact same damage number. So losing damage to armor has actually done nothing, which means damage to armor is not applying to him. He is not affected by damage to armor, but Sledgehammer affects him. Why? Now you're going to have to pay close attention, but I'm running Hollow Man on this one, which is damage to health. I have 132 critical hit damage, same amount of detox, nothing else changed. I hit 1.7 mil. Now I'm going to take Hollow Man off and then put Contractor's gloves back on. Still have 132 critical hit damage, nothing else has changed minus the fact that we have swapped out damage to health to damage to armor. Hopefully if I can get a crit, 1.6 mil. I have lost damage. So damage to health is applying to Chungas, which is fine. We know this. But it still begs the question, why does Sledgehammer say damage to armor when damage to armor clearly doesn't actually apply to them? It's actually kind of quite simple, really. It's just the simple fact of Sledgehammer isn't actually damage to armor. I'm aware it's worded that way. I'm aware of what the devs said, but it isn't damage to armor. It is applying a completely separate multiplier on top of them. Think of it as opportunistic, but it applies to both armor and armor plating. Now, I'm aware some people want to make the connection that they're both armor. I mean, kind of. They both protect the enemy, but they are both calculated and shown in entirely separate ways. It's like saying a motorbike and a car are both vehicles. Cool, got it. Therefore, a car is a motorbike. No. A motorbike is a car. No. Armor plating and armor are both there to protect the enemy's health. They do the same job, same as vehicles. But the fact is, they are entirely separate entities and should be treated as such. Sledgehammer is not damage to armor. Third is exponential amplifiers. These are amplifiers that basically don't add together, they will multiply together, but they come from the exact same source. Two very good examples of this are both Hunter's Fury and Intimidate. For anyone that thinks Intimidate got nerfed, no it didn't, it actually got buffed hilariously. So this is my Hunter's Fury random build. I am hitting 339,735. The reason for this is because a lot of people will read Hunter's Fury's 4th perk and just read essentially you get a 20% amp when they're within range, and then you get another 5% amp per kill 5 times. 5 times 5 is 25. 25 plus 20 is 45. Now I understand this. This is perfectly fine unless you're an absolute nerd like me. You're not really going to go that far into it. 45 is kind of close enough. However, if I put my exact stats into the build calculator with the 45% amp under amp 1, as you can see, apparently my body crit should be 321655. As shown, this is incorrect. However, if we do this equation, 1.2 times 1.05 to the power of 5, 1.2 being a 20% amp you get within being in range, and then 5 times 5 times 5 times 5, and then multiply them all together, the end result is this number, 1.5315. We ignore the 1, and Hunter's Fury gives us a 53.15% amplifier. Now, rather than the 0.45 we put into the build calculator, if we put 53.15 in, we get, completely surprising no one, our exact damage number, 339,735. Yes, I have spent far too long testing random dumb things in this game. So, just to show it from base, with no stacks, it's just a 20% amp, and it's 20 times 5. 20 times 5 times 5, 20 times 5 times 5 times 5, 20 times 5 to the power of 4, and then finally it's 20 times 5 to the power of 5, which gives us 339,735. Up next is one for you PvP players, damage to health. It just doesn't exist in the DZ. This might actually be common knowledge, I don't know, but for those that potentially didn't or are thinking of getting into the DZ and thinking of just whacking a bunch of multipliers in, damage to health just doesn't apply. This includes kind of shields, we think, but we don't actually see damage numbers for shields, which is kind of really annoying. However, an easy way to test this is to just burn through someone's armor, take note of the damage numbers. I'm just going to get a few headshots just to try and get it down as quick as possible. There's a crit for 278, 725, body shot 278, 725. Damage to health just does not apply in the Dark Zone or in Conflict, which is kind of weird, kind of annoying, and it does actually mean that on your AR you do technically have a dead stat. However, this is compensated by the in-game multiplier for PvP on ARs being considerably higher, which makes literally no sense because, let's face it, you can get millions in armor, and unless you're hacking the game and have like 900,000 SHD, most players' armor you're going to come across is going to be easily below 500k, which is what, 4-5 bullets max. I nearly killed Rousey there with just one bullet to his actual health bar, so that should highlight just how little damage to health should really mean. But to compensate for this, the devs decided to basically give ARs a larger multiplier than pretty much every other weapon, which is why ARs in PvP are pretty much king. Now for the final one, I'm just going to leave the background footage of Rousey killing me in the DZ on repeat, which hopefully you should find mildly amusing, I'm hoping. Simply just because there's no actual footage to show testing this. It's simply just an equation that may or may not help the PvP players in designing their actual builds. The equation is simply this: status effect duration time times 1 negative the Hasbro you have. Now you will have to do this for each individual hazard, which kind of does get annoying, but what this essentially means is if I get hit with a burn sticky that lasts for 12 seconds, I have 95% Hasbro. 12 times 1 minus 0.95 equals 0.6. I will be under a burn effect for 0.6 seconds. So this means that if there is a particular player bothering you with status, etc, etc, and you want to know how to get rid of them as quick as possible without sacrificing too much DPS, obviously 100% Hasbro across the board is going to solve all issues, but you might not have the DPS. So maybe you want to know how much a certain status will affect you if you're at 90%. Boom, in this case, fire 1.2 seconds. Now it's going to be kind of annoying because obviously every status is going to last a different amount of duration, so if you want to do it for bleed, you have to find out how long the bleed lasts and then redo the equation. And the reason I'm bringing this out now is because pretty much every PvP player I know is dreading St. Elmo's engine coming into the equation. So hopefully this will help you out. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Thank you even more for the love and support that you have shown. 5k subscribers for me is absolutely huge. Hopefully you enjoyed this weird little 5k special of 5 things you might not know about the Division 2. If you did know about them, let me know. I'll try and find more obscure ones. If you didn't know about them, ta-da, you learnt something. Anyway, to finish this video off, Rousey's on his way to send me to the land of Nod. So in the meantime though, have fun, good luck, don't die. It's bad for the health.